Hi, I'm going to do something a little different today because usually I do tapping at the end of the session, but today I'm going to start by tapping as I'm talking. So I invite you to notice what you're feeling as we start and as I start to discuss the topic today. So you can join in anytime. You will recognize this as the thought field therapy crisis tapping pattern. That's pretty standard, and you can just join along with me in order to maybe help you manage what you're feeling at this point. I'll do it at least twice during this session. And the reason that I'm doing it, now I'm doing the 9 gamut. Now I'm going to not be able to talk for a moment as I do all of the things, the 9 things that go into this. And then we'll go back and tap again. I'm doing it this week because there's a high likelihood that, just like me, that you've heard about the shooting in Uvalde, Texas. And notice what you feel just when I say that, because you've probably been exposed in the same way I have, watching the news. Sorry, sometimes I get stuck on a tapping point because I'm talking about other things. But I want to remind you that any of this can be too much for us. I'm going to do the 9 gamut series. Close your eyes, open your eyes, look down left, right, one way, the other way, hum, count 1, 2, 3, 4, hum again. The level of violence, especially involving children, is always going to touch us deeply. I've spent my life working in traumatic stress recovery, and I know that no matter how well you take care of yourself, there will be moments that you feel the emotional pain, the upset to a level that impairs your ability to endure the reality, engage in a thoughtful and productive means to making things better. So thought field therapy is the best way I know to help us stay functional and ready to engage quickly and easily, and there's no risk of making it worse. So if you've been tapping with me at this point, I'm going to tap again in another moment, and just pay attention to what your level of upset is, 0 to 10, as we go on here. Most of us will feel relief with the tapping that I'm doing here. If you are not, then you can try it again. But there's 3 things in thought field therapy that we consider when your tapping is not successful. First is psychological reversal. In thought field therapy, we address 5 different types of this. Only 2 of those types are corrected with the crisis tapping pattern we've done. So there's more to be done there. The second reason that tapping may not be working for you is something called neurological disorganization. That's where your body's neurological system and energetic system is not coordinated. And we have a correction for this that's called collarbone breathing. And you can find that on my website. It takes just a few minutes. Or you can go to YouTube and just search collarbone breathing. You'll probably see me there doing it. And then after you do that, you try the tapping again. Now, the third reason that tapping may not be successful is what we call individual energy sensitivities. The most common of which these are inhaled exposures. Some people, not all people, this is unique to an individual, are going to have their systems disrupted by these sensitivities, by these toxic exposures. So what can you do? The simplest thing is change your environment. You could open the window, open a door, get some air flowing through, step outside, take a walk. Make sure that you're drinking plenty of fluids. That is often helpful with this. And give it a little more time and try tapping again. If one of these blocks to successfully tap, if you want to know more about these blocks to successful tapping, I'm doing a workshop, a 1-day live interactive workshop on June 4th. More about that on my website if you're interested. But I'm going to ask us again to think about this because if nothing else, I will ask you to notice what you're feeling and there is one thing that you can do right now, maybe limiting your exposure to these events by limiting how much news you watch. I generally recommend no more than a half an hour in the morning and a half an hour in the evening. You'll get all the information that's new and you need to know. I assume that if I need to know more than that, somebody's going to tell me. Somebody in my close circle, somebody in one of my other circles, someplace in my community. So, and this is what my wife and I do by limiting this, but we still get overwhelmed on occasion. And when you do, tapping can be the best thing to help you bring that down to a level you can think and act again in a way that's going to be productive. So I'm going to tap again. So now that I've talked about these things, and it probably has triggered some things in your mind or your thought field. And if you did, I just want to leave you in a place that's manageable, which means a set level of 2 or 3, no more than that. If you're going to try to engage in making some things better with the world around you. 9 gamut series again. Close your eyes, open, down left, down right, whirl them around, back the other way, hum, count, 1, 2, 3, hum, and then we repeat what we did before, side of hand, under nose. So I'll be interested to know if doing it this way, maybe tapping as we go, is more useful to you than just tapping at the end. I'm trying to decide how to make this the most valuable use of your time. Hope to see many of you at the live online workshop where we can interact with one another. I can answer some more of your questions, and I can tell you more about what you can do to make your tapping more successful. So I hope to see you then. For right now, just hold a kind thought for yourself and for all of those people who are suffering terribly from the violence that's just recently happened in Uvalde. Bye-bye.